I love great conversations. Hi, my name is Angel Jones. Thank you for joining me on 12-minute convos where I help you create a brand of your own unique, real self. Listen in as I have conversations with amazing people from all over the world. Good day, Daniel Gefen. How are you going on this wonderful, beautiful day?
It is beautiful. I'm in Israel in the Middle East, so the sun is shining.
Oh, that's great. The sun shining is always a great idea, especially when you're hearing what's going on in America right now with the coldness. Ooh. What temperature is it though with the sun shining?
It ranges from about 23 to 28 degrees, something like that. So it's nice. It's very nice.
Yeah, that's great. Again, we're speaking of degrees Celsius, right? And not Fahrenheit.
Celsius, yeah.
Right. Wonderful. Well, Daniel, please do tell us which of your talents is responsible for us connecting at this time.
Which of my talents? I guess I'm a hustler a little bit, I like to... I kind of get into different modes, and when I'm in hustle mode, I just literally put on my headphones and I network like a beast. And I just literally go out and reach out to everybody I know, and that's one of the things that I enjoy doing. I love doing it, and it's given me some incredible rewards.
Who did you learn that skill from? That skill of the hustle?
I think I had it from a very young age because my mother, she keeps reminding me that I would drive her crazy. So whenever I needed or wanted anything, I would just go crazy for it, and I would keep asking until I got it. I wouldn't give up. I would just be like, I want it. And I would just keep saying it until they just gave in and said, all right, here it is, So, but I talk about that in my book, actually, about my upbringing and how I became persistent, or how I learned how to deal with my persistence. Because it's not always a good thing. Sometimes, it can get in the way.
Oh, really? But, how have you seen it? How have you seen that occur, where it's gotten in your way?
You could piss people off, It's like you can really step on people's toes, and so you have to be careful in a way, but then I'm also very much of the opinion that even if you step on a few people's toes along the way, it's not the end of the world, because people will always feel slighted by you. If you're the type of person that's a go-getter, right? So whether you write a book, or you launch a podcast show, or you build a business, whatever it is that you do, there's always going to be some people who will want to get in the way of what you do. And it comes from a place of intimidation. They're intimidated by you, and it might be your friends, and it could even be your own father. But thank God my father's not intimidated by me. But there are fathers that, they can get in their children's own way because they're intimidated by their growth. It could be your best friend. It could be, a spouse. I've had people on my show who have told me that the best business decision they made was getting divorced, believe it or not. So, for me, I'm actually a very strong believer that if you've got a dream and if you've got a goal, don't let anyone get in the way. If you're going to step on a few toes along the way, then just go forward. That's my philosophy.
I love it. Well, you spoke of two things there that I'd like you to bring to light, which is one, your book, and secondly, your show, your podcast.
Yes. So my book, which I'm really excited about, it's my baby. It took me 10 years to give birth to it finally.
Sweet.
I was a very massive procrastinator my whole life. I've always put things off, and that's actually the whole book is about that. It's about how to go from being a consumer and in becoming a creator. And the book is called The Self-Help Addict. So it's actually really the story of my life. I was always a self-help addict. I was addicted to self-help books. I would listen to audios and watch videos and read tons and tons of books and blogs and articles and go to webinars, but I never did anything with it. I would always just consume, and then I would want to do something and I'd get really inspired and ready to roll, and then suddenly no, and then I would just end up consuming more information. And so I wrote this book which helps people get out of that cycle, that vicious cycle of being in a self-help addict space. Yeah.
The podcast. You forgot the podcast part.
Oh, sorry, the podcast. So the podcast is called Can I Pick Your Brain? I launched it just 2 years ago, and it's been an incredible journey. I've interviewed the smartest man alive, the leading FBI hostage negotiator. I've interviewed some big names in the online space. I've interviewed a billionaire and a bunch of multi-millionaires, and most of these guests have all come from either one person I interviewed, actually, she was homeless and she lived in her car for 6 months, and she would go to the local gym and she would trade washing the windows for taking a shower and being able to eat a cereal bar. And that's what she survived on for 6 months, being completely homeless, living in her car in a forest. The car wouldn't even start. So she was literally stuck in this forest. And then she just built herself up, and eventually she built up a consultancy tech firm and sold it for $250 million.
Wow.
So these are the types it's crazy. These are the types of people I've interviewed on my show. It's called Can I Pick Your Brain? You can find it on iTunes, Stitcher Radio, and all the other podcast places. For those that are obviously listening to this podcast show, if you like listening to podcasts, hopefully you'll love mine. So yeah,
I love this. It was pretty great. Now, to the beginning of your podcast, right? If I'm not mistaken, now I'm listening to a lot of podcasts. I could be wrong, right? But is it that you do like a small rap to the beginning of your podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was great.
Yeah, I shouldn't be doing that, but I do it because I was scared to do it. I had a fear, and because I had the fear, I pushed myself to do it. And it's something that I talk about in my book. It's all, about how do you overcome fear. And for me, really the biggest way to overcome fear is to really face it, to really look it dead in the eye and say, you know what, I'm scared, but I'm going to do it anyway. And now I've done about 20 rap intros. And every single time I've done a rap intro for a guest, they're literally falling off their chair. They love it.
Yeah. So do you pre-prep that, or is it something you do on the spot?
No, I definitely can't do it on the spot. That would be mad skills. But I actually don't.
You probably can't do it just yet.
Not yet. You know what? It's funny you say that, because it used to take me about an hour to an hour and a half to prepare the rap. And now it takes me about 15 minutes.
Wow.
I can literally, I can do the rap in 15 minutes. And I'm using, the guest's personal story in the rap. So it's not easy, because I've got to come up with, and I do it in about 15, 20 minutes now. So I've really...
Yeah. In Trinidad, we have something called extempo, which is, it's like a cultural set track, but individuals are going one-to-one, just making up things on the spot while rhyming. Every line has to rhyme, right? But when I heard what you did there, it was totally intriguing. Love it tremendously. No, seriously, I love it. So I would pay to get my beginning of my podcast have a rap with what you're doing. I'm telling you. Well, there's all right, so we've definitely blown past our first two segments. Daniel, where's the best place for people to connect with you?
They can go and hopefully, if buy the book. It's The Self-Help Addict. If you type that into Amazon, and I'm sure you'll link it up in your show notes, The Self-Help Addict. Or if they want to buy it on the website, they can go to theselfhelpaddict.com. That's theselfhelpaddict.com. If they want to check me out and what I'm doing, they can go to danielgefen.com. That's Gefen with one F. And of course, I'm on Facebook and I'm on LinkedIn. So if they go to LinkedIn or Facebook and just type in my name, Daniel Gefen. They'll find me there.
Wonderful. Again, Gefen is Gefen. Well, Daniel, let's switch gears for a moment now and let me invite you into my time machine that is surrounded with beautiful, warm, blue Caribbean water. Daniel, what is your earliest childhood memory?
Earliest childhood memory is when I was in a forest with my parents and we were in the middle of nowhere and I wanted a bar of chocolate. Like I had this craving for chocolate and they didn't have any. So I just sang a song and it went like this. I want chocolate, 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 I want chocolate. And I sang that song for an hour straight until my mother grabbed me by the hands and like ran out of the forest and jumped in the car and just went searching for a chocolate bar because she couldn't take it anymore.
How old do you think you were?
Oh, goodness. Maybe 4, probably around 4.
Intriguing. Why do you think this memory is so clear? And how do you see it connecting to who you are today?
It's clear because I wrote about it. I wrote about the story in my book, so it's fresh, but also it's just a memory I have because it's really the story of my life and how I got to where I am today, which is I've constantly just pushed and pushed and pushed and tested the limits. It's all about testing the limits. You should never grow too old to forget about how, as a child, you used to creatively experiment with life. Never get too old to do that. And so I really believe that's one of the secret weapons that I've used to get to where I am.
Love it. Well, you've definitely connected the dots on that, my friend. If we fast forwarded to when you were 12 years old, what was your favorite song?
Oh my goodness, seriously? I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie world. I'm just joking. That's not the answer, but that just came in my head. I have no idea where that came from. I have no idea. But yeah, we'll just go with that one because I don't remember what my favorite song was.
It's good. That song amazingly connects as well, right? With the repetition, right? Just like I want chocolate, I want chocolate, I want chocolate. It's amazing, right?
Maybe.
Yeah. All right, my friend. Well, we've arrived at our destination, but before we get off of this time machine, there is a small declaration form. So it's yes or no, possibly a bit more. We're going to move pretty quickly here. Are you ready, Daniel?
I'm ready.
Daniel, have you chosen someone to pass on your skills to?
Yeah, my children.
Are you married?
I'm married with 4 children.
Wow, wonderful. Congratulations. Do you believe in God?
Yes.
Do you have an inner circle of friends?
Yes.
Do you watch TV for more than 3 hours a day?
No, I try not to.
How about 3 hours a week?
Well, TV or Netflix.
Yeah, tell us about screen time. How about screen time? Is it more than 8 or less than 8 hours?
Yeah, I would say I'd say I keep it to about an hour a day. I try to keep it within an hour a day.
Or is this screen time the phone and or the computer?
Oh, no, hell no. Oh, God, I wish I was only an hour a day on the screen. No, that's just like Netflix. Netflix, I do like an hour. If I need to unwind at the end of the day, I'll watch an hour of Netflix, like a documentary or something like that. In terms of screen time, I'm literally in front of my screen all day. It's actually not all day. When I go home for dinner and I spend time with my kids and my wife, and I usually play chess with my son, and so I'm not on my phone or anything then.
Okay. And if you had to share with us, Daniel, your own unique real statement, a statement that represents Daniel Gefen, what would you say that is? Go
from being a consumer to becoming a producer.
Love it. A creator, right?
Creator.
Yeah, there we go.
From consumer to creator.
There we go. Well, Daniel, this has been a great pleasure. Before you leave, is there anything else you'd like to share with our amazing audience?
Just looking forward to hearing from all of you. Love hearing from new people, and always exciting to hear about what you guys are doing in your life.
Love it. Daniel Gefen, thank you for being on What is Inspired by 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones.
Thank you, Angel. Thank you for having me on the show.
Thank you for being on 12-Minute Convos with Angel Jones. Stay tuned for more from our advertisers.
Diabetes is a mountain pandemic. It's a disease that's not acute but chronic. Similar to this rhyming method, I have simplified the definition, the signs and symptoms, and the complications of diabetes for both adults and children in my books, Poems for Patients, A Focus on Diabetes, and The ABCs of Diabetes for Children. These books are available on Amazon.com, and for more information, you can visit my website, poemsbyaj.com. That's poemsbyaj.com.